Welcome to Marketing Monday. I'm Paula Williams with ABCI, and today we have a question about the NBAA convention last week. A lot of people went to that, and a lot of people want to know, what should I do with all of these business cards that I have collected? Now, some of you guys have whole fish bowls of these. If you had a booth and had a lot of people coming to your booth and had a lot of things going on, some of you were just walking the floor and may have just a handful, and that's fine. It's all about quality over quantity, right? So don't get into the whole counting your business cards as a measure of success story with these trade shows. But what should I do with these to make sure that I make the best use of them for our sales and marketing objectives for the year, and make sure that the trade show is a good investment for us? Excellent question, Janet. Thank you for sending that, and we will send you our social media guide for aviation professionals for sending in that question. So, 3 things. The first thing you want to do is make sure that you put all of these into your CRM, because these are going to get lost. And you may right now remember all of the conversations that you had with these particular people, and remember what you talked about, and remember a lot about them and their business and other kinds of things. You want to make sure that you take really good notes and get all of that into your CRM, or your customer relationship data system, as soon as you possibly can. So, whether you're using Infusionsoft or Salesforce, or, even just a spreadsheet, you want to make sure that you've got notes in there. I like to tag them. Everybody that I saw at NBAA 2017 has a tag that says NBAA 2017. And that way I know, even if I sell them something 8 months from now, that this may have been part of that decision-making process for them. And then when I'm looking back next year, or this year, I'm looking back on 2016, NBAA 2016, how many sales did I make this year with that NBAA 2016 tab? That really helps me plan, which trade shows are really worth the money for us, and which ones maybe are not as worth it. And it's harder to track that over time because, like I said, you may have seen them at the trade show, then they got another newsletter, then they may get an email, then you may telephone them about something else. There's lots of different interactions that you have with them, but part of what went into that decision might have been the trade show. So if you didn't have that tag in there, it would be a lot harder to figure that out over time. So make sure you get them all in, lots of notes, lots of tags. More is always better. You can never have too much information about a prospective customer, right? Okay, so that's thing number 1. Make sure you get them into your CRM, get them tagged, get the notes in. Thing number 2 is you want to write handwritten notes. I like these half sheets with our logo on them. They're not salesy, they're not obtrusive, they're pretty generic, and I never do any kind of selling on these handwritten notes. And I've got some little envelopes that go with them, so that makes it really easy for us. And I actually take these with us and write them out either at the show or in the departure lounge on my way out of town, whatever is easy for those. So once again, I like these little half sheets. You can just write in there, had a great conversation about ATC privatization. It was great to see you at that cocktail party, or whatever it is that you talked about. That way they know you were paying attention, and it just kind of furthers that relationship. But once again, I don't really do any kind of selling with these notes. I just send them to basically anybody that I had any contact with during the show. So that can be casual, that can be professional, those can be people that came to the booth, whatever, right? Okay, and then one step above that, for anybody that we did a consultation for, or did anything more extensive for, or that asked for specific information, I do not distribute, or I don't usually recommend that our clients distribute a lot of materials from the booth. And the reason is because everybody's carrying around these bags full of brochures and other kinds of things, and they never really go through those again once they get home. Those go into the closet with their luggage, and they don't see it again for days, weeks, months, or years. Or a lot of that stuff ends up being left in their hotel because they can't fit it into their baggage, going back to the East Coast or whatever from Las Vegas. And they don't want to be charged for overweight luggage. They are tired of carrying stuff, whatever the reason, it just doesn't get home with them. So you don't want to give people a whole lot of information from your booth. I like to send these after the show. And this is just an information package that I can send. And I can also send, pens, and you can send the tchotchkes that you would have given away in your booth. I like to give away candy in the booth and then not much else. And maybe some little business cards or some little trifold brochures or something like that that's really small. But then after the show, for anyone that's really shown an interest or seems like a qualified prospect, I will make a folder like this for them that has some information about the company, information about our products. I might include like a CD with a video from a happy customer, business card, lots of different things that I can include in these information packages that I can send from the show. So those go to everyone, and it might go also with one of these little notes that I just stick on the front saying it was a great pleasure meeting you at this cocktail party. We talked about this. You asked for some information about our products and services, so here it is. And then I send this whole thing in a box or a big envelope and make that happen. So those are the 3 things that I do to follow up after a trade show. There are other things that you can do, like follow people on LinkedIn, lots of things like that. So those are all good, and whatever your process is, you may want to add these 3 things, but those are my big 3. 1, make sure you've got your tags and notes in your CRM. Can't have too much information once again. 2, do the handwritten notes, and 3, do the information packages. So that's my process, and we'd love to hear about yours. Put it in the notes below, and we will see you next time on Marketing Monday. If you have a question for us, let us know. You can send those by email if you want to be anonymous, or if you want to make up a funny name for yourself, you can do that, or we'll just use your first name. Thanks, and we'll see you next week.